Hi guys, I'm going to be reading for you today chapter 7, No Grandpa's Here. I sit on my bed holding my copy of Alice in Wonderland. The shaky writing in the front of the book says, "For Allie, my wondrous girl, love Grandpa." The colors of the book are all bright, even though the book is old. Inside, the pages are soft and the writing is bigger than in books now. But I still can't read it all by myself. It's like having a gift that's been locked in a glass box. I'm feeling heavy, but I always do on Sunday nights. The thought of another week at school does that. It's like knowing I have to pull a tire through a keyhole the next day. But I'll have a new teacher. A Mr. Daniels sounds like a grandfatherly type with pockets full of lollipops, which I think could be nice. I'm hoping he'll spend a lot of time straightening his bow tie and telling us about the good old days and not giving us much work. But when I show up, I find that Mr. Daniels is no grandfather. He's younger than Mrs. Hall. He wears a dark jacket and a tie with colored circles on it. When I get closer, I realize they're planets. Most of the kids are gathered around him. I throw my stuff in the closet and walk over. He says, "My very excellent mother just served us nachos," and claims it is an easy way to memorize the planets in order from the sun. Albert, whose hair reminds me of a bird's nest, stands nearby. "I feel bad for Pluto," he says. I look over and my eyes are pulled to the bruises on his arms. Pluto was a planet all those years, and then someone just decided it wasn't anymore? Too small, too far away, orbit not just right. "I don't think Pluto cares, Albert," I mumble. He sits in his chair and says, "Well, I do." I feel bad for him and want to ask him about the marks on his arms. He is big and chunky, but not fat, the kind of size where others would just leave him alone. I pull out my chair and sit down. Okay, I tell myself, I'm going to do better. I'm going to work harder. That's all I need to do. I'm going to really concentrate this time, even though I know I've tried that and it doesn't work. Reading for me is like when I drop something and my fingers scramble to catch it. And just when I think I've got it, I don't. If trying to read helped, I would be a genius. Mr. Daniels is in front of me. I hold my breath and lean back. He holds out his hand. "I'm Mr. Daniels. Nice to meet you," he says. Shay leans towards Jessica. I guess he doesn't know who he's talking to. As usual, most of her friends laugh. "Hey," Mr. Daniels says, turning to her. "That isn't cool. We don't do that in here," which wipes the smile off of Shay's face. Then he turns back to me. "What's your name?" "Allie Nickerson," I answer, so softly that even I can barely hear myself. "Well, are you going to shake my hand, Allie Nickerson?" he asks. "I don't bite on Mondays." Great, just what I need. A funny guy for a teacher. I take his hand, but only for a second. My mind is already spinning off, wondering what terrible things Mrs. Silver has told him. The plans they've made for me. I see myself wrapped in rope, lying on a train track, just like in Grandpa's old black and white silent movies. "Okay, Fantasticos, take your seat," he calls. Time to set the world on fire. Everyone scrambles to their seats, but I'm still lying on the imaginary train tracks, all tied up and watching the engine come around the corner. All right, guys, that's the end of chapter 7. We meet our new teacher, Mr. Daniels, and he seems a little bit different than maybe what Allie's had before. All right, guys, see you later.